gone for the regression analysis. And is it a linear one or the multivariate non-linear one?
No, linear. But I teach statistics and I've written books on statistics, and at the end of the day, I'd much rather see that bivariately the results stand up. I'd much rather see those bar charts, then I have a clear sense of what the impact is. For me, regression is just icing on the cake, just to prove that it is statistically significant, even when you control for all the rest. But it doesn't tell you about the practical significance. So therefore, statistical regression is really just a necessary but not sufficient condition to say that your data are interesting. You must really show it in a graphical way, in a bivariate way. So that's the second part. So you know. Yeah, okay. This was very interesting because we obviously had long discussions about that. The theory of sampling is you have a sampling frame, and you would randomly choose from that. But guess what? You don't have a sampling frame of central government officials in any country. And if you did, you ain't going to get it. So that's not a good way. But is that the only way to get a representative sample? The answer is no, of course not. Of course not. You can, for example, go to your HRM director and say, I want the representative sample. You're not going to give me the sampling frame, but you have the sampling frame. So this is how, I want you to get it from these, in our case, non-defense related agencies. And I want you to select from among these category of officials, and not more than two respondents in any one work unit. And so we defined it in that particular way, so that at the end of the day, we were fairly confident that we had a fairly random sample among the group that we really wanted to have. So in this sense, we can be confident that this is reasonably representative. Perfect does not exist anywhere. If you want perfection, you're not going to do so. You're not going to be doing science, right? So the point is to have more knowledge of what you previously had, and the fact that the data stack up so well country to country, and that the variables track so well from one measure to another that you would suggest that in the end one has high confidence in these data. That's the best one can do.
Okay.
And so different countries, different situations, right? There is no standard way of doing this.
Next question from Masao. Yes.
Thank you, Evan. My name is Masao Kikuchi from Meiji University. Initially, I was in your project, but sorry for that. I could not contribute the data from Japan, mostly due to the earthquake happened last year. Since all of a sudden the national government officials got quite busy, so that he did not have any room to respond. So that's for the future. Next occasion that I promised to contribute the data from Japan. And just one just comment for further analysis, that as related to Professor Nakamura's comment, that I think that mostly that the culture did not make differences as to concepts that we expected, but as the U.S. case is mostly the state governments, and also you collect from the world countries, but the respondent, which agency they are from, is combined of the service agencies which has the agency or ministry, they have more like a service-oriented agency, Ministry of Health or Ministry of Constructions and so on forth, or the other ministries whose job is to mainly the coordinate, so that their customer is not their customer is the ministry, so that in such where in the government or government structure is maybe make a difference. That's my comments. Do you get it?
Is that a question or a comment?
Yeah, my comments.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me go back to the very first thing, the innovation of getting people to work together from Japan to Australia Brazil to, actually Pakistan was also involved in this, and we may still get data from Pakistan for that matter. Some people come up to me and say, Berman, where did you get the money from to do all this? And the answer is, there is no international agency that's going to give money to you to do it. You must have the money yourself. And if I have to wait until each country goes through its whatever National Science Council, or whatever you call that agency to get your money, then the project never going to happen. So we had to devise the project in a way that scholars had almost no opportunity to say no. It would be unreasonable if you said no. So one of the things that we did is require a small sample size. So people only needed to collect about 300 surveys, 300 or 400 surveys per country. That sounds small, but it is sufficient for a reasonably representative sample if you do it very carefully in a particular way. So that is what we did. So as a consequence, there are certain variables and questions that are very legitimate to ask, and we say, well, we don't know that. So we move the barrier forward. We reduce uncertainty. We increase knowledge by a whole lot. But I'm happy to report that there's still room left for improvement for next time. Like so. So I think your comment is very valid. We did a lot of smart things here to make it possible for people to participate, and that's what you got to do. Excellent comment.
This is Theo from NIDA.
Yeah.
Mr. Berman, I just wanted to clarify something from you regarding the sampling. Because during your course of your presentation, you made mention that the guys at the Chamber of Affairs were not easily accessible, and you didn't consider the
Lower employees.
lower employees.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel that by considering just the middle,
Yeah.
the result you got is kind of in line with what the middle managers will give you. But since you're measuring performance, I think it's the foot soldiers that actually do the work. And culture might have an effect on their own participation rather than the middle managers.
I think you're making 2 or 3 or 4 comments there, all wrapped in one.
So when you left out those at the lower.
Right, we did not survey lower employees. You're free to do that next time, but some of the questions that we were interested in relevant to public administration, those would just not be, you would say the lower employees are not relevant, credible respondents for those items. So it would require a different kind of survey.
But the participation of the lower employees in civil service does not contribute to the performance of that.
I did not say that. I did not say that at all. I did not say that
So
lower
why did
employees
you
are irrelevant.
if you let them are, you shouldn't be dissatisfied with our
It's the
expectations.
phrasing of the question. You've got to ask questions of people. The question that you ask people got to be knowledgeable and credible to answer those particular questions. There are things that a senior manager would know that a lower manager would not know. There are things that a lower manager would know that an employee would not know. So you've got to ask a question at an appropriate level for the appropriate person. And in a survey, you can't ask the same question across all those different groups. That's just not reasonable. It's not appropriate to do it that way. One could do a survey across that would involve lower employees. It would just be a very different kind of survey. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think it's about time. Unless there's one last very important question. If not, I'd like to thank you, Rosie Van Berman, for another excellent applause to excellent audience as well. I've been to many meetings abroad, and these days a lot of people here. We have Thailand has 65 million people, and about 8 million people pay taxes. I mean, it's about 12.5% of the population. This is 12.5. Okay, I would then like to close this session. Okay, thank you very much.